said.
Wait, what? A nun
Nothing,
said.
nothing.
Oh, I blew it. I'm so sorry, Dave. I was counting down and then I was going to go, what did you have me watch? No, this is, yes, I love it. Anyways, let's do our horror themed intro
What's not to love?
and we'll be back for some Columbo.
Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to Late Late Horror Show. I am Dino, and this is Dave, or this is Dino who ate too much seafood salad. And Dave Plouffe had a positive response to negative reaction, which is the name of this episode. Columbo, negative reaction, air date, October 15th, 1974. Good thing I jumped on this early, Dave, because it said it's an hour and 35 minutes. This was like a made-for-TV movie, right?
It was a long episode. There was no fooling around.
No, they did some, like, they were made-for-TV movies.
And there was no like fill. It was all like really cool action stuff.
Oh, yeah. No, it was. Let me say hi to everybody. It is Columbo night. We are doing a Columbo episode. Dave's pick with Dick Van Dyke as Paul Galesko. But let me say hi to everybody. Hey, Edward Stewart. Thank you again. I told you it made the cut. The Jason Myers. The Jason Voorhees hockey mask. Light up, stand up. It's got a little display stand too on there. He sent me that, Christmas, I would figure, and all that. He gave me 2 Ovaltine jars too, really cool. And Bela Lugosi VHS tape. But there it is. It looks really, really good there. As you know, you guys can see here, the set is different again. I'm back to the old other room. And let me say hi to Bernie Gambano. I listen, I read your name, Bernie, and I always go, hey, Bernie, I think of the Syndicate, Anyways, Connie Clary, what's going on? Edward Stewart, what's going on there, Edward Stewart? Bernie Gambano, WWM. Sweet Indigo is here. Yeah. Did I miss anything? I think that's it, right? Bill Boyer is here.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen, I love this, Dave. Thank you for introducing me to Columbo. Not that I didn't know who Columbo was. I know Columbo, but I really never watched any of this TV series or movies or anything like that. I just know him from pop culture,
Right.
And I did see him in, like we talked before, Murder
by Death.
Murder by Death. Yes, he was in that, and he was playing Columbo. So. But yeah, this is excellent so far. This is the second one I've seen. I really, really enjoyed it. It was different. It had a different feel than the first one we did.
Yeah.
I think I enjoyed the first one better, and I think you would probably agree it was the better of the two. But this is still, man, 8 out of 10, nostalgic. Oh, yeah. 1974, it has it all going. And I'll talk about Dick Van Dyke too, but thank you, Dave. Yeah,
you're welcome. And hello to Francis McCloskey.
Speaking
of Francis, that is the name of Paul Galesko's wife, which would be Frances Galesko.
Yes, his wife who gets it real quick in this
Very
one.
Quick. And she deserved to.
Yeah, she was what you call a nagger. One that nags, one that does the nagging.
And she was rich as well. That
yeah, she was
pulling the money strings on him.
Yeah. Broken Prophet, what's going on? Arcanius, what's going on? Columbo is so damn good. You're so damn right. I tell you what, Dick Van Dyke's character, main character, Oh, go ahead.
We had talked about last time that we were going to see Dick Van Dyke in a totally different acting. And the first few times, I didn't really like this episode. but
Huh.
it is now one of the more iconic episodes that I
Yes,
think is
sir.
really good.
I'm trying to do Ed McMahon, and you're Johnny Carson. Well, that sure. Anyways, listen, Dick Van Dyke. I think you told me that last week, and I immediately, when I saw Dick Van Dyke, when I saw Dick Van Dyke in this episode, I'm like, okay, no comedy. And listen, I know Dick Van Dyke from the Dick Van Dyke Show, and
Right.
really from Carol Burnett's show too. I mean, that's what I'm Carol Burnett fan, big time. Tim Conway. So he's a comedian, and what? Mary Poppins? He was in Mary Poppins, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Man, I haven't seen that since I was a kid. Probably not any better, but I think he pulled off the straight man, the bad guy, not even villain, bad guy, because that's not the whole point of this. Really, he became a criminal, but he just was broken down by this nagging wife of Francis, and he just couldn't take it no more. And his man, so many things I could say because listen, go ahead.
We'll get to it when we get to the ranch house that he buys, when he commits the murder, and what he says in that dialogue is so great. And but we'll get there in a little bit.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to go somewhere I shouldn't because I was headed that way. I tend to just let things flow, and they shouldn't. Arcanius, one of the best things about Columbo is the stars you see in very odd roles for them. Yes, I love the Robert Culp episode. Yep. We had the what's his name again?
We did Jack Cassidy last time.
Yes.
We did obviously Dick Van Dyke this time. Well, we've got a Robert Culp coming up. We've got wonderful people.
Larry Storch. Yeah.
Laurie Storch is in this episode.
Yeah.
And we just saw him in Kolchak.
Edward Stewart puts nagging wife, laugh. Yes, in Kolchak, that is right. Larry Storch. Yes. It's and he played odd characters, but it is funny seeing these people play bit parts in these episodes, whether it's Kolchak or Columbo. A lot of the TV shows back in the 70s, early 70s to 1980, kind of, you saw these types of actors because they needed to get paid. It was different back then with the unions and all that, which we're not going to get into that. Let's get into the episode, Dave. How do we start this?
All right.
Oh, one thing stood out because I was watching like kind of a trailer type thing. Well, it's right at the beginning. Yeah. They do this like kind of little trailer, like right before they show the entire thing, which was odd. But Columbo's sitting there, and you go to find out he's in a mission. He says this line, which is funny because the Sister of Mercy, played by Joyce Van Patten, offers him a coat, thinks he's a bum, and he goes, "No, listen, I love this." See, I still got to work on the voice. What is wrong with me? We're doing these on a regular basis, and I'm not getting the voice down. But he goes, "I've had this coat for 7 years." And I just love that line because she's trying to give him a new coat because his looks weathered and tattered and all that. And he's like, "Listen, no, this is good luck. I've had this for 7 years. I'm not." And there was a much more rugged Columbo in this episode than before.
Yeah. And I loved her response to that phrase. "Oh, you poor thing."
Yes. Oh, you poor thing. Sir Cupid stunt, the Leslie Nielsen, Patrick McGowan episode was on UK TV today. Very cool.
Oh, that's a great episode.
Okay, Dave, I gotta let you talk a little bit. Go ahead. Hey, John.
Oh man, there's so many cool episodes that you have yet to watch.
Yes.
We start off, and I'm going to start talking about the episode. Yeah. We start off in a dark room, and to me, in the 1970s, it's like everyone had a dark room. Everyone had a bar in the living room because we've seen Kolchak several times already in a dark room. There's an episode in season 1 where Roddy McDowell is in a dark room. And here we have Dick Van Dyke doing the same thing, but he's not developing anything because he is a photographer, a world-class photographer, has over a dozen books, under his name.
A dozen?
But
Is that what they said? A dozen?
Yeah.
Man, back in the day when everything was in hardcover and book form, you must have got paid a lot of money because he has an estate with a maid and he's a great photographer. He's got but how he got all that money? Yeah, things were so different. Now we have an iPhone. We can blah, 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 blah. Back then, you can make a living and become rich with it, Dave. So strange.
Yeah. And he does have a wife who
Hey,
is a fledgling alcoholic
Yeah.
because it's early in the morning. It's like not even 10 a.m. and she's having a martini and she needs to get to the auction that is downtown.
Well, didn't he have to go somewhere first and then she said, no, we're going here or something like that? No?
Well,
because they were bitching at each other at the very start.
They were at the very start, and he was wanting her to go check out this. He's running late, but he wanted her to check out this farmhouse that he bought without her permission.
Okay, that's right. Yeah. And it's part of the storyline, but yeah. Yeah. Dick Van Dyke. And I didn't write down the name of the actress, Frances Galesko.
Antoinette Bauer.
Okay.
She is still with us, just like Dick Van Dyke is. Also in her 90s.
Wow.
And what did you think about her in terms of wife material? Not the complaining, but did you think she was an attractive wife?
Hi Boy Donuts, Harry Scott, hello.
Yeah, hello.
Wait a second. Are you being serious? She's.
I am. Because I'm going to reference something that you haven't seen. She was in an episode of The Wild Wild West, season 1, 1965, 66. Babe.
Okay.
Total babe. But
that was going back maybe a good decade.
Almost 10 years. But she's from Hungary. She's just like the Gabor sisters. She was a model. She could have been a Hammer horror girl.
Yeah.
She was really attractive, younger. Now she's, here she's in her 40s and she's, much more, I've been married type of situation.
She's had a few drinks. She don't care what she. Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, I got to look at her in the episode of Wild Wild West. Hello, Darlene. Greetings to you. And I don't think I missed anybody else. Bubba, Lulubelle. Yeah, everybody. Good to see you. Much love to you guys. Definitely make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button. Check out the links below. Dave's link is working if you want to see the paranormal gardener or the professor. I had no idea it wasn't working. But anyways, you got to go check out Dave and Bo. Bo's laying on the floor back there right now. So cute. But but she's let's move on.
All right.
I mean, wait till we get to the secretary, Lorna. Yeah. I mean, I put next to the name Yamahama. That's what I wrote down.
How funny, because I did something that rhymed also, Hubba Bubba.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, she's let's see, Lorna. Where you at? Lorna McGrath as Joanna Cameron. Cameron plays her, but she's got a heck of a IMDb.
She is, and growing up, I remember watching her as Isis.
On
the Sid and Marty Krofft Saturday morning specials.
Okay, very cool. But yeah, she was 167 IMDb credits, so a lot of those were TV, but
and just passed away about a year ago.
Yes, 2021. Yeah, Lorna. Yeah. Up until the day she passed, she still had great gams, Dave.
That's wonderful.
I'm just saying.
I feel awful because she's the age of my mother.
She was a very attractive woman. And in this episode, anyways, okay, so where are we? There's a lot to go over. It's an hour and 38-minute movie, but I think you can kind of condense it. It's one of those movies that I'm not going to say it's drawn out because I wasn't bored a second of it, but there's not a bunch of like explosions and stuff happening, you know. It's just like some of the scenes are just drawn out, and it's the character that keeps you intrigued and keeps you going and thinking, you know. So it is one of those episodes. Whereas the last one, which was less, it was 58 minutes. It was like an hour, wasn't it? Somewhere around.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were trying to get a lot of things in there in the script, and yeah, this one was just a little bit slower, maybe, but still good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But it was a great character development, really fun episode, a fantastic ending. I think this ending makes up for last episode.
Yeah, it was an interesting ending, how he, and we'll talk about it. But hello, Kathy. Big hugs to you. Hopefully everything's going well. So after the whole fiasco, and you know, his wife wants to get going to the an auction, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Sotheby's. You
Sotheby's.
have to drop me off because they're they're selling this wonderful tea set.
Wonderful tea set. I just got, I love it. Love it. Do you like,
So,
you like all the antique ashtrays she had around in porcelain? Yeah.
I didn't like the house.
Well, I didn't really like the house either, Dave. No. I wasn't saying that, but even
I understand.
yeah, even because me and Dave are into architecture and stuff, so it's the house has got to look proper. But
oh, totally.
But yeah. Well, I mentioned ashtrays because there are a whole mess around the house, and later on, it's
everyone's smoking, and including in the very last scene, Dick Van Dyke is smoking. I don't know if that's right.
Yeah, Dick Van Dyke should not be smoking. Yeah.
But he's 93, so I guess it didn't hurt him. But I couldn't tell if that was like the way he was holding the cigarette. I'm like,
for his role or not. Yeah, I don't know if he was a smoker.
Play smoking or
I don't know. Who knows if he was a smoker? I don't know. Most of the things I never seen him smoking in. So, but anyways, there's a scene later on with the ashtray when Columbo does come back to the house. I know we'll get to it, but I just want to say it up front here because it was funny. When he first comes back to Paul's house and he's going to talk to him, you know, about what happened. He doesn't. Nobody's there, but he's looking for a place because he's got an ash hanging from his cigar type thing, his little cigarette. I don't know what it is, but you know, it's brownish, but he's looking for all these, and he's going, where do I put it? And then he, being the nice guy Columbo is, he drops it in his coat pocket and just finishes it. I thought that was
puts it out.
So funny. And
the whole time Dick Van Dyke's just staring at him.
He's behind him looking at him. Well, and that's what was funny though. And he did the right thing. He didn't I was thinking he was going to put it under the cushion. Like, you know, but he didn't do that. So anyways, we're off to the in the vehicle, which it's a great vehicle. I don't know what vehicle that is, but
that was an awesome vehicle.
Yeah. These made for TV movies, they all got interesting vehicles. Like, I don't know what that was, Dave. But anyways, evidently you don't either. So we'll move on. But he got in there. He started driving, and he's taking them to the house he just bought to, you know, we skipped over the ransom. When he was in the red room, the developing room, he was making a ransom note out of clippings from the newspaper.
Correct.
Go ahead, Dave.
So they drive through the countryside. They arrive.
Oh, do they, Dave? They drive through the countryside.
They do. It's beautiful. It's actually out here in Thousand Oaks, and we could do a wonderful Columbo tour if you ever moved to Southern California.
Oh my gosh!
But they go and see this house, and immediately, I mean, this is how great of an actor Frances Galesko is. She walks in, and she's like holding back a laugh, and she's just demeaning Dick Van Dyke the entire time. Like, is this the outhouse? Is this the main house? Is this, what is this? Let's break up this furniture and throw it into the fire to keep warm. And it's dust everywhere. And it's,
she's like, this is crap. This is garbage. What is this? Yeah. She was basically, treating it like that. And I don't think they explained really why he bought the house, but he did buy a house. I don't know.
Yeah. but then she doesn't pay attention, very much like in the first episode, you
Hey,
have
Brian.
Martin
Yeah.
Milner isn't paying attention when, Jack Cassidy puts on the gloves and puts bullets in the gun and everything like that. Doesn't question why all the furniture is covered in plastic.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Francis looks around and there's a new clock up on the sill mantle of the fireplace. And Dick Van Dyke is coming at her with, he's wearing gloves, he's got rope, and she's all, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And
that got me at the beginning, like before he even left the house, when he opened up the briefcase after he had the ransom letter made, he put it in there. You could see the gun, and then I'm like, he grabs the clock. It's one of the clocks that you could put on a mantle, a little one, plastic.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Very 1960s.
Yeah,
clock.
yeah, and wraps it up, and I'm just like, what is he putting that in there for? It was just quite odd, and it does come into play because kind of gives Columbo some clues down the road. But yeah, that was very interesting. But he sets up the clock, and go ahead, Dave. Yeah, it was very, very. I don't know. She was just babbling, and he was setting up the scene for a murder.
He was, and he definitely wasn't a Boy Scout because he did not know how to tie knots. He ties her to a rocking chair, and it's like, verbally, but it just does it like much more than he needed to.
Yeah.
And, she's all like, "Release me." And she's all, "What is this, type of, newfound masculinity that you're having?"
Yeah. And he's just looking at her like, but he does, when he puts the clock up there, he kind of puts it back to 1. He goes back an hour.
2 o'clock.
He puts
Actually,
it to 2 o'clock.
It's either 2 or 10. I forget because that's the clue.
Yeah. But it's 2 o'clock. He puts it to 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
But later on, it'll be 10. But anyways.
But and then he takes a picture of her. And it's not.
Wait, hold on. Harry Scott will be back. Be right back.
All right.
I gotta go check on something. Hold on. I'm just joking. I love when Harry Scott comes in and like I'll see him do that at the overnight chats. He'll come in and then like a couple minutes later he'll go, "Be right back." And I'm like, "Okay, Harry. Love you, Harry." Nice. Okay, go on, Dave.
And Brian Kirkham came in, so hello.
Yes. Hey, Brian, what's up?
And so takes a photo of his wife, but the photo's not very good. And he tosses it away like any other person would just be all like, "It's fine. It's a ransom picture." But no, he does it so it's better centered and better lighting and all of that. And then he starts telling Francis how much he hates her. And this goes on for like 2 minutes. Like, every day I wake up and you're still alive. And I have this dream that someone has called me and said, "Someone has kidnapped your wife and she's dead," or something like that. He goes, "And you've made my life miserable. For the past 10 years, we've been married every single day. You're a suffocating woman," he calls her.
Yes. Oh my God. And the whole time he's got gloves on too. Honestly, I think the whole episode he's got the gloves on.
Almost.
And I think the side notes said that when he was at the beginning of this, when he was dipping his hands in the red room, he was developing pictures, and he kind of burned his fingertips. So he actually just wore the gloves the entire episode.
Okay.
That's a lie, Dave.
Well, I believed it.
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to do that, but yeah, he's got these gloves, and they're nice leather gloves with the little. Anyways, go ahead.
They look like riding gloves, like he's
a little bit, yeah,
going to be on a horse or something.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, leather.
Yeah, but there's no horses in this episode.
No.
What was
Seabiscuit? Woo! Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. What's going on?
And then I always thought it was funny too how his beard was. It was just like totally like, that's not Dick Van Dyke. Is that a fake beard? Is that a real beard? It was just really cool. Anyway, guess what? He kills his wife. And then he drives down the street and calls up his prospective girlfriend, Lorna.
Yes. Good evening, Darren Garcia. Been a long, long time. Hopefully all is well. Happy New Year to you as well. Harry Scott is back. But yeah, go ahead, Dave.
Well, he tells Lorna to go and get a passport because they're going to the Philippines.
Yes. And Lorna's like, well, is that okay with your wife? And we come to find out a little bit later that Lorna is kind of sympathetic with Paul because she knows how that this woman's the wicked witch, Frances, his wife. And, I'm surprised he didn't get her in on it. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was all Paul.
And I don't know if she knows she is the prospective love interest yet.
Right. Hey, Ghost. Well, she mentioned something later that she's got a date or something. And I'm like going, and he wanted to have dinner with her. Remember in the one scene? I'm like going, okay, so I wonder how close the relationship is or what's going on there. But anyways, they don't allude to it.
He could be getting more sympathy once she realizes his wife is dead.
Could be. Ghost Dancer Radio, what is going on? Good to see you. By the way, we have a mixed detective stream tonight, so expect some Broadway is my beat and other favorites. There you go.
How many thumbs up do we have, Dino?
I don't know. Let's do a thumb up count. Oh, and let me say, Connie Clary, thank you. Gifted 1 Late Horror Show membership. And it went to Brian Kirkham. He shows up today. And you get gifted a membership. Thank you, Connie. Really appreciate that. Yeah, it's awesome. Let's see. Thumbs up. Let me do a refresh. And we have 44 thumbs up. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, please do. Helps with the algorithms and other things of that sort. We get special coupons in the mail if we reach a certain limit on thumbs up, I think. You heard that, right, Dave?
I just know
government has released green stamps again. And
wonderful.
All has to do with YouTube thumbs up.
Got a whole bunch of those still.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, they say bring them out. You can get stuff at the store.
Hoping for a fridge one day.
Okay. Hey, Emily Thompson.
Hi, Emily.
So nice to see you in the overnight chats like you are. Not only do you get to see Emily and Connie and crew and everybody in morning coffee in the morning, but yes. Yeah. Hey, I'm not even going to get into that. The YouTube has exploded with overnight OTR. But anyways, many copy and pasted descriptions too. Anyways, go ahead.
After the talk with Lorna, he drives down.
Keep going.
Drives down the street and he meets another unfortunate individual, Alvin Dreschler.
Yes, an ex-con.
Ex-con just got out of San Quentin.
Yes,
and they're standing by this beautiful lake, and he's claiming that, like, gosh, it's weird being able to go anywhere you want and to be outside and everything. So we know he's been in jail a long time. And he is working for Paul Galesko. He was the one that bought the property so that the real estate person didn't know that it was Paul Galesko, because he's all the money is going to go up if, they know a celebrity is going to buy it.
Yeah. And
he gives him some instructions to call him at like 5 o'clock.
Yes. We meet the maid, Mrs. Moyland, and she's your typical maid. I don't know,
typical maid.
She's not Lorna, but nobody is.
Long career in the films, and she's been on 2 episodes of Kolchak, including the original movie, The Night Stalker.
Listen, we're in that universe of the same era there by a few years. So yeah, they all played on. Anyways, there was a little interaction between the maid and Paul where you were thinking, okay, he's given himself away already. You know what I mean? By how he was, because she's saying, Mrs. Gillespie, is she still sick? I could make her up something. And he goes, no, 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 no. You know, so there were a lot of things that were, I'm going, oh my God, he's giving himself away already. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here at the end of the scene, he really did cover himself up because, you know, he got a call, which I think that wasn't meant to happen, but he did end up clicking again, you know, and then he made it seem like, you know, he had to meet somebody somewhere at 5 p.m. So he's setting everything up where he's going to have to give some money for a ransom because the maid goes over and sees $20,000 for pickup, you know, or for the whatever it said.
In small bills.
In small bills. And again, I said $20,000? Is that all?
Yeah, but again, you got to put a zero at the end of that for inflation. So you're probably looking at close to $250,000 in today's dollars. And was Francis really worth that? I don't think so.
Oh gosh, no. I mean, that's funny. I think if Hello Panic Penguin, I think if they looked into it just a little bit more, Columbo, which, you know, I must say that's the one thing I like about the way these are set up so far. You've always got the sergeant, kind of like the Charlie Chans and Sherlock Holmes of the day, where they come in and they have it solved like that. Like the information you've given me is enough. It's solved. I mean, what more do you need? There's fingerprints there, camera here, dead body, things are set up. But you gotta love the way Columbo is always, and you see it in his characteristics, the way he thinks about something. The minute a scene, you know, clicks and he connects something, you see it and you go, man, that dude's smart. You know, he's picking up on things that nobody else would pick up on. And you have to question, no matter how good things look. That's why we have the court system like we have it. You know, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
That's the way Columbo goes about. You understand it? This is the way Columbo goes about things. These sergeants, you know, they're just like, okay.
They're busy. They just want to get to their lunch or coffee or next promotion. But Columbo, things make him feel uneasy.
Exactly. And he can't sleep. Like he says, I can't sleep because this is bothering me.
Right.
This is bothering me. Wait, this is bothering me. Anyways, it's getting a little closer. I don't know. Maybe not. Golden Radio Hour. Hello. Okay, Dave, where are we at?
It sounded like you were from the Syndicate.
Yes, I know.
Again, Gambano.
Okay, I'll get it done next time.
All right.
You know what? There is one thing. I felt very sorry for Al, the ex-con.
Such a nice guy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, he was committed to San Quentin for extortion. So, I mean, listen, it's a criminal. He's a bad guy, but once he comes out here, you see this man that Paul is taking advantage of, and you can see the sympathy in Al, you know, and he really wants to do the right thing, but Paul's setting him up to do all these evil things and kill him. So I felt so bad for him. That's all. I don't know.
Yeah, I felt bad for him too. He was he's going to be murdered, and he is he's more of a sympathetic character than Mrs. Gillespie was.
Yes, he is.
And that motel, by the way, that he stays in still exists today. And
it's down the road from you.
It's about an hour and a half away.
Wow, close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave, man, he's you guys don't understand. He's in the heart of Hollywood. But anyways,
well, when we get to one of the movies, I will actually show you some of the locations where I took pictures of myself posed as Columbo figures.
Really? Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And another little bit of information, Dave actually lives in Joan Crawford's house from, you know, when she passed away, he bought it. So, you know, he that's why he loves old Hollywood. It's fantastic. I always love
old Hollywood.
And didn't she leave all her dresses in the bedroom?
We're not going to talk about that. We're not going there. Yeah.
Oh, geez. Oh, no, I didn't mean it. Oh, well, you know what? Okay. Yeah, that was a deep talk that night. Anyways. So, yeah, I felt sorry for him. I'm trying to think of where he gets a call from Al to meet at the junkyard at 5 p.m. He wrote $20,000 small bills, brings money to the hotel room to set up Al. So that's where we get to the scene where he's going to meet him at the junkyard. and Paul has got his gloves on. I don't know if he had a key or not, but he was paying for just about everything for Al, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, because Columbo picked up on that right away.
And also when Columbo talked to the parole officer, like the parole officer was trying to get him a job, and Alvin Dressler was like, no, I don't need one. I'm okay. I'm cool.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
And by the way, the car that Gillespie is driving is a Rolls Royce.
Oh, did somebody say it in the chat, or did you get
No.
it? Okay, very cool.
Just turned it on and looked at the car.
Okay, nice. Overkill with an O. Does Joan Crawford haunt the place? Cries of no wire hangers echo in the night. No, Dave's fine. If she does come in spirit, yeah, Dave don't mind it being the movie The Entity. But anyways.
Well, I was almost thinking, what is it? Whatever happened to Baby Jane?
Oh, geez. Well, yeah. Well, yeah. No, we want the younger Joan Crawford to haunt you.
So do I.
Yeah, you don't want the one where she's hollering at Betty Davis and giving her rats. Spoiler. Anyways,
so we're at the junkyard. The junkyard is really cool, and again, he's going to kill Gillespie, or Gillespie is going to kill Alvin Dressler. Paul Gillespie hands the ransom note to the guy to get his fingerprints on the ransom note.
And yeah, he goes, listen, I got a letter here. Listen, this whole 5-10 minutes here, he's setting is the whole setup for Paul. Like, he sneaks into his room and puts the ransom letter, the newspaper clippings and stuff like that, where he made the ransom letters. He put the camera underneath the clothes in the drawer. He's basically just setting them all up, and then
also that phone call that he made earlier. So that there's a log of a phone call to Paul Gillespie's house.
Yeah, that was a big deal in the last episode. So phone calls back in the day were logged and easy. Well, I think you can still trace most phone calls even now, but back then it was pretty easy and everybody wrote it down. Like, I found it funny that he went to the front hotel. He asked the hotel clerk, the hotel clerk writes everything down. Somebody makes a phone call from their room. They know who they're calling, what they're doing. They could probably even listen in on them, right?
Maybe.
Didn't Norman Bates and Psycho listen in on some of his? I think so. Anyway. Yeah, okay.
But this is one of the great scenes where the guy goes, oh no, somebody's got your wife. Do you know who it is? I guess it's going to have to be you. Boom. And kills him.
Yeah. And that's where I think that's the point where I started really feeling sorry for him, because I don't know, the way he was talking and stuff too. He's just like, oh, there's Bo. Oh, did he just jump up on you and scare you? I seen you jerk a little bit. I'm like, what happened? Yeah, cats will do that. And he's a wild cat, so the paws. I felt sorry for him because he goes, oh no, Paul, somebody's got your wife. That's how I out talked perfectly.
That's
got it down exactly. Somebody's got your wife. And then Dick Van Dyke, did the whole shoot up. And I like, again, mistakes. It's just he takes the gun. He shoots his leg, Dick Van Dyke. Well, he shoots him first from a distance of a few feet, whatever. Then he gets the gun in the hand of Al,
right,
and then puts it right up against his pant leg, where all the powders and the nitrates, as Columbo says, the nitrates, are they on his hand? It's all there. That means you were right there. So you better have it down, man. Anyways.
And could you even shoot yourself in the leg? Not like, just yourself, like, oh my God, that would hurt so much.
Oh yeah. I would think of a different way. I mean, maybe I would eliminate that and say, yeah, you know what? I don't need to shoot myself. It'll be fine. But he thinks if he's injured, that's, more, what am I trying to say? Dave?
more authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, more authentic. He can get away with it easier. Oh, this poor guy, because the sergeant does come and say he's off to the hospital, and I like when he's in the hospital. And before then, he's met with a bum that was at the
Vito Scotti. Now, you aren't familiar with the Columbo lore or anything like that, but Vito Scotti is in like 4 or 5 episodes of Columbo. And this was another like personal friend of Peter Falk. He's in all these episodes. You'll see him in later ones that we'll cover.
Do you know if they have a switchboard in the hotel you can listen at least in TV or movies? I don't. What's that mean? I'm trying to figure out.
You were talking about if he could listen at the hotel, could listen to the calls.
Okay, so he can probably listen, but okay. Anyways, what else was here? I saw somebody else said something, but it's fine. Oh, Connie, thank you for all the thumbs up. Thank you. Please thumbs up and all that. Hit the bell. You know the drill on YouTube. You know how it goes.
Did you like the Sergeant Hoffman?
Yeah, he was okay. I like that he interacted with Columbo in a respectful way. He was sergeant, Columbo's lieutenant. He kind of, they worked together. I think this was a very, kind of chill kind of episode, even though a lot went on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People got along. Columbo didn't have as much, things thrown in front of him, obstacles. That's what it's called, obstacles. And stuff like that. So yeah. But the bum at the junkyard ends up
not the bum, the wino.
The wino, yeah, they call him a wino. What better place to drink a bottle of wine than at the junkyard? Is what I always say, right, Dave?
Totally.
Yeah.
Just kicking back in an old car, and I love when Columbo's car doesn't start. When he pulls into the junkyard, and this one cop on patrol's all like, the junkyard's closed.
Yeah.
And he's all, no, I'm a police officer.
I'm Lieutenant Columbo.
So then he tries to start his car again, and it doesn't start. I'm just going to leave my car here.
Yeah. Oh, my God. So, and the Sergeant Hoffman is played by Michael Strong, who was in quite a few things, too. So,
including Patton.
Yep, exactly.
I'm going to let the cat out.
Got to go outside. Got to go. Bo's got to go take a dump. Oh, sorry. That was a little rude. But yeah, that was quick. What'd you do? Throw a Bo
right here.
Throw a Bo out the window?
Down a hallway. Whether this is Joan Crawford's house or not, right by a door.
Well, I didn't know if there was a door in the office or how close it was. That was quick. Anyways, Joan Crawford had a single room house. So, Dave, if Dave turns like right where the camera and his laptop is, like right in front of, the other way, right in front of you, directly in front of you, that's the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah, a little stove and fridge. Anyways, let's continue. So,
I think you did have too much seafood salad.
I know, yeah. Oh,
that mercury in there just is.
That's why I'm drinking ginger ale.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers. So where are we at? Columbo walks in.
Now he's at the hospital because he wants to interview.
Yeah.
And as soon as Columbo walks in, this is another thing. He doesn't like guns. He doesn't like blood. So he walks in. He goes, "Oh my God."
Yeah, because he looks down as Columbo walks in. He can walk into the room as they're performing surgery or whatever. But yeah, he's got a bullet wound, and the doctor's right over him, cleaning with no mask or nothing, just like, we'll give him some.
Wash his hands.
Nothing. He's just laying there. He just got an IV going, so I don't know. Maybe they gave him some pain medication, but he's laying there and they're sewing him up. And when he does even go in with the needle, which I'm sure they put some Novocaine or something there. I don't know. Maybe not. It was. Anyways, he's just like turns over and goes, "Oh," but he's right back to. But Columbo's interrogating him, right, Dave?
Yes, he is.
Yeah. What's he interrogating him about? You remember?
About his wife, and then he heads back to the hotel, because I think they have a lead on Alvin Dreschler where he's staying. So they go back. and they find all the things that Paul Galesko planted, and also including I'm not sure if they found the camera here or not.
They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so Alvin's been going around last couple days. My camera's gone. My camera's gone. And we meet the hotel manager, who is the perfect hotel manager.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I love the fact that, again, the sergeant thinks it's a shut and closed case. Here it is. Here's all the evidence. And Columbo's asking all the right questions for somebody who's got to get the facts, you know. And he's like, don't you think it's weird that he left the camera behind, you know? So, you know, that was one of the things. He's like, why would somebody leave the camera behind? And he's also picking up on, later they talk about how the housekeeper didn't clean up, but the newspaper is there. Wouldn't there be clippings all on the floor and stuff like that? So, you know, Columbo's asking all the right information. So, that's
Kathy Roberts has some nice things to say about your channel.
Kathy Roberts does. Yeah. Hey, Kathy Roberts, good to see you. Hello from Pikeville. My internet is bad tonight. Much appreciated, and thank you for the channel. I love it. Thank you, Kathy Roberts. I know I see you in the overnights quite a bit too. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Darren Garcia also says Columbo, the only guy who wears a trench coat with clothes underneath.
Indeed.
Yeah, most people wear a suit.
We're back at the office now, and this is one of the few times in the series you actually see Columbo in his workspace. And Columbo looks like he's been run over by a truck.
Yes.
He's got the beard started. He's got the tie that's undone. He's got a thermos of coffee, and Sergeant Hoffman comes in.
You look like crap.
Yeah.
Go home and sleep. He goes, I got 2 hours.
I got 2 hours on the couch over here.
Yeah.
And again, Sergeant Hoffman's like, dude, this is an open and shut case.
Yeah.
And Columbo's all, no. He goes, look at Dressler's rap sheet. Does anywhere in here say that he's stupid? Because if he did this, he's stupid, you know? And he goes, that's not our killer. Yeah,
he was definitely making a point about all the like stupid mistakes and stuff like that. And good points, you know? So, yeah. And then I think they immediately get a call about they found the wife at the house.
Yeah.
And that's when they all go back to the house. And then Columbo's looking around there and all that. And go ahead.
I have to say how much I love this 1970s police office. There's a drinking fountain. There's a map of the jurisdiction that they have up above. They have the glass with the lines through it. They have file cabinets and cool things on the desk. Not a computer in sight.
Oh, no. Listen. It kind of reminded me of Barney Miller, but a little bit more light. Yeah. Anyways. Again, I say this all the time, and maybe this is because I'm getting older. I don't know. I don't know how kids take it. I don't know how many 20-year-olds or 30-year-olds even are like into like the decade of the 70s and 80s. I'm sure there's some, but you know, I look back on, you know, things I've seen in this movie. I mean, in this show, this movie, I could say movie. It's an episode. But, especially when they go into the electronics shop. I mean, all the old cameras, the Super 8 projectors. I mean, the radios, everything you see, I'm like going, oh my God, that is just so obsolete now, you know? It's funny how the older you get, glimpses of other decades, like those items disappear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why it becomes so nostalgic. And that's why some of these shows like this, which, you know, it will always be there on the screen for you to look at, you know what I mean? Just memories come flooding back and the love for how things were. I was listening to a podcast or a show the other day about how we always tend to go back for the things we miss. That's where nostalgia all came from. It's the things we miss. And when things and times get hard in life, we tend to go back to the things we're comfortable with and that remind us of the past for the most part, That's why I love these shows. But anyways, Dave,
Well,
I'm sorry to cry on your sleeve.
I was listening to Joe Rogan the other day, and he had brought up the same type of thing where, we're all about the same age. We're all right around 50. And he goes, when you think about it, he goes, if you take 3 of our lifetimes, that brings you back to the late 1800s, where we crossed this country by wagon and horse. And he goes, look at how quick things have just, become what they have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, listen, we've talked about that enough on Paranormal Into the Night and all that, where leaps in technology, there's a reason behind it. How do you go from landlines to, we got fiber optics and you can have the entire, energy. Anyways, whatever. I'm not going to get into that stuff. But yeah, I just love it, man. But listen, when they're at the house and his dead wife is there, Columbo finds everything, I mean, I don't know what to say.
He does. But Dick Van Dyke shows up and he does a really good acting job running toward his dead wife's body.
Well, I'll give a different side to that. I don't think acting, yes, but I don't think he put enough emotion into it. And I think Columbo picked up on that.
I thought he did. He actually physically rumbled with Columbo, and Columbo's holding him back. No, it's okay. And then he finally says, no, I want to ride in the ambulance with her.
Okay.
As they take her away.
Well, listen, two different views. I thought it was a little weak. And if I was Columbo, I would be going, this guy's he didn't raise his voice enough. He didn't cry enough. I don't know. But when he was in the house, does he go in the house after Paul leaves?
Columbo goes in after,
okay.
Yes. They've pulled the body out. Paul Galusco's gone with it. And now he's free with the real estate agent to walk around the house.
Okay, there you go. And that's where he's looking through the scene of the crime and all that. And he notices, the main thing he notices clue-wise in that house is he goes to the mantle that is just dusty everywhere. But he sees the clock up there. And the clock is clean. It's got no dust or anything. And he puts his finger along the mantle and it's dusty. What realtor would sell a house or even not clean that up? But anyways, left as is, buy it as is. How hard would it be to vacuum that up or to sweep it off? But he lifts the clock up and he goes underneath the clock. He goes, oh, yeah, no, this clock was put here on purpose. And I don't know if it happened before or after. I don't think it's happened yet. Did he go to the camera store yet, or is it after this?
I don't remember. Okay. I know he goes to the mission after this. Okay. But as he's in the house also, he talks to the real estate agent.
Picture.
He's letting us know that, he dealt with Alvin Dreschler, but he thinks someone was behind this. Columbo looks into the fireplace and he sees that crumpled up image of Francis. So we know that there's 2 photos that were taken of the victim.
Yes. And the first, that's the one that he didn't like the way it looked and he threw it in there. So it's going to give him away. But there's also, and when he's not interrogating, but talking to the real estate agent, hey, Freddie Miranda, what's going on? Duck Dodgers and Catherine Kelly. Anyone ever noticed that in many Columbo episodes? Hold on a second here. There is a recurring musical theme based on the children's nursery rhyme, This Old Man? Dave?
Yeah, you will see that in a lot of episodes where he will be whistling, or you will hear in the theme of the TV show, This Old Man. But we'll highlight that in a more
deeper cut area. A deeper cut show. But I liked how he was asking him, did this Al seem like, he was buying this property for somebody else, and the real estate agent goes, yeah, you know what? Come to think of it, yes, that's the exact feeling I got. And I was just like going, that's a weird thing to put in there, but it worked. It worked. I mean,
It did.
but yeah, there's lots of things that's going to give them away. But I mentioned the camera store, because that clock comes into play with the camera store and what he learns there, because the clock is 2 p.m. in the picture,
Right.
when he took it for the ransom. But we come to find out, okay, so he takes a trip to the camera store trying to figure out if Al bought this camera at the camera store here. And honestly, everything is, what am I trying to say? Everything is looking good for what Paul has done. Like, it's all aligning up. It's like Al did buy the clock. I mean, not the clock. He bought the camera.
Yeah.
And all of that good stuff. But there's always questions with how and why, because he just got out of prison. He doesn't got any money. But
right. Wanted the receipt made out for 100 instead of 30.
Yes.
And also that camera looked so old, even for the 1970s.
Yes. And did you notice Columbo, when he came back to talk to Paul later at his house again, he tried very sneakily, and I wondered why they wrote that in the script, because he didn't get a picture from him, but he tried to get a picture from him, hoping that it was an older picture, maybe from that camera, or a camera similar, or something like that. But anyways, when he was in the camera store, before he leaves, he looks at this cardboard cutout of a woman, a model, and on the left side, she's positioned, with her right arm bent. And on the other side, she's positioned with her left arm bent. And he asked the guy, how is that possible? And he goes, it's just about reversing the negative. You know what I mean? So so he learned something there, and it's going to come into play at the very end of this episode. It's kind of how everything gets solved, honestly. But the 2, and it's going to come up with the 10 p.m. a little bit later on. I can kind of throw that in there as we're going. But yeah, I think we're at St. Matthew's Mission then now, Dave. Oh, you're muted. Yeah.
We're also at 68 thumbs up. So thank you very much for getting toward the top of the hour.
Yeah, thumbs up as we're, go.
I wanted to talk about the scene walking through the alleyway to St. John's Mission. And he talks to a person, a homeless person, calls him Pop in the alleyway.
Oh, he is homeless. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, sorry.
So that person, I want you to remember, because that is Michael Lally.
Okay, you got familiar, Laura? Okay, let me know.
I know.
Michael
okay,
Lally.
So this is what's great, because you don't know who Michael Lally is.
No.
Michael Lally was a personal friend of Peter Falk.
Okay.
He is an old-time TV actor who's been in about 400 different episodes of things. He is the second most common character seen in Columbo. So you have Peter Falk, 69 episodes. Michael Lally has been in 25 episodes. And he plays these secret roles. He's a bum. He is an accountant. He is a bartender. He is a photographer. In each episode, he plays a bit role in all the ones from the 1970s. Wow. Unfortunately, he dies in like 1978, 79. So he's not in the ones that are later, but this is his personal friend. And he's a person who you'll see in every single episode, kind of like how you'll see in Alfred Hitchcock movies, Alfred Hitchcock in all of them.
Yeah. Okay. So just an inside kind of thing throughout Hollywood or Columbo or Peter Falk, whatever. That's cool. Okay.
Right. But in one episode, it actually happens to be Jack Cassidy accidentally calls him by his real name, Michael Lally. No. And so that's how we all know who it
Okay,
is.
okay. That's
Yeah,
very cool. That's good to know, so that I can catch that on later episodes. But yeah,
yeah,
very cool. Hey, left-handed Jedi, what's going on? I do love that scene where they're walking through. Again, it's a glimpse of life through 1974. You know, the
oh,
see the
totally.
stuff. But they're going to Saint Matthew's mission, and this is where we are introduced to Sister of Mercy, Joyce Van Patten, who offers him the
Yeah,
coat. But he's there to look for the wino to clarify his statement. But I love this scene because she's offering him food and stew, and he's going, oh, okay. He's being very polite and quiet and allowing her to do everything she needs to
yeah.
do.
And I'm not a big fan of Joyce Van Patten. I don't know why, but she is actually going to be a murderer in a later episode of Columbo.
Wow. Well, she's another one
Yeah,
that, her IMDb is pretty lengthy too. I mean, all the way up until, close to her passing. She continued to be in movies and everything else, some really big movies in the 2000s. And I'm like, wow, okay. So yeah, really good stuff. But she's very insistent, and I love the scene for sure. It doesn't really go anywhere, Dave.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I like the scene, but I think for an hour and 38 minutes, there were like this could have been cut down to an hour, but it didn't take away, because if this scene was out of this, I wouldn't have enjoyed that whole interaction and that remark of this cold has been lucky to me. I've had it for 7 years, and just the way he acted. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it.
Well, it also really makes Columbo one of us.
Well, no.
It's like, I like stew,
Yeah.
and he's all like, is this meat in here?
Yeah, that's
And
half.
the wino goes, that is the prevailing theory.
Oh man.
And then Columbo starts talking to Vito Scotti, and he's all like, I want to talk to you about this murder that happened. And the guy's all, should I get my lawyer?
His barrister, he said. Should I get my barrister?
Yes.
Because he's not drunk
Yeah.
at the moment. He goes, you won't need your barrister. You're not a suspect, nothing like that. I just want to clarify this statement. And it just ends with him saying, I don't remember any of it. I was just too drunk. But he does find out, Columbo, that there's, from the statement, that there's a little bit of a gap between the first shot and the second shot, between Paul and Al, who he set up. And that's going to come into play too. Not that that's going to clinch the case, but it's just something to break them down a little bit more, because things don't add up,
Right.
So, yeah.
But, and again, unfortunately, since the Vito Scotti can't remember, he knows he's got to find another way of proving that he did it.
Yes.
This is where we go to Gillespie's home, where we have the ashtrays everywhere that he doesn't want to use, dumps the ashes in his pocket, has a little interaction with Gillespie. Then we have the scene where the camera store is. Then we are at the cemetery.
Okay. Yeah. Are we at the cemetery then? Yeah. The funeral. Columbo shows up.
Now, again, you will see cemeteries in a lot of Columbo episodes. They're all filmed at the same one. And this is such a great, almost comedic part of the story, where Columbo's walking around taking pictures. And the camera is really loud.
They were,
and
too.
The guy's giving this beautiful sermon and everything. And, and then you hear this click.
I love that. It's him trying to get at Paul a little bit, and just get him off edge. I mean, listen, that's what I'm saying. Columbo, he knows what he's doing, and he gets everybody. I'm looking at the chat too. Everybody's putting in some good comments. Didn't Nimoy play twins? Is that true?
They're not. Nimoy didn't play twins. That was another actor who was on Mission Impossible that I can't remember the name right now.
Okay. And Short Bus 12. Hello, can anyone see your chats? Is there a reason why we wouldn't be able to see your chats? We can see them. Welcome to the chat. That's all I have to say. There was another thing real quick at the camera store that he picked up on. That's where he found out about Al, this ex-convict who just got out. And I think they give you $100 out of prison or whatever. He's got no job. He's not looking for a job. He comes to find he's taking taxis, and he noticed that on the outside of the store. He's taking taxis. Columbo tells the sergeant, listen, taxis, they add up.
They're expensive.
And they're like, why didn't he just rent a car? And then they find out, well, he just got out. He didn't have a driver's license. And that's when he went to, the instructor to find out, if he really went and got his driver's permit. And and then after he got his driver's permit, he rented a car, but still things didn't add up with the money he had on him. How was he paying for all of this? So it all led to, but Paul's paying for everything. But anyways, Dave, go ahead. We're at a funeral. I think that's it. They kind of, that's where Columbo meets Lorna. And I sat back and watched Lorna walk away.
I think we all did. I mean, even the cameraman. As she's,
Well, they said during that scene, the cameraman and the producer, they made sure they took 20 takes of that shot.
Little known fact.
Because the light just wasn't coming. It wasn't right.
You should put that in the Columbo book that you're going to publish.
I will. Yes.
All right.
Yes. All the insiders' secrets. Hey, Night Fright Talk Show. What's going on?
So after the funeral, we actually go to Paul Gillespie's studio where Lorna is working. And
is that when there was an art show or something going on, or no? Is that later?
I don't think so.
Okay.
The art show is later, yes.
Okay.
But this is like he starts looking at all the books that are on display that Gillespie has published. He's
got an awful lot of books here.
She lets him know that they're leaving for the Philippines. And so, 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, he's putting everything together, motive, opportunity, and all that. And then he and Paul Gillespie get in a little tiff in the studio, and you could start to see Columbo grating on this guy.
Yeah. Hey, Ed Stathis, what's going on? And Killer Jake, I hope you're not a troll. If you guys see him say anything else out of line, please do make me a moderator here. Are you kidding me, Killer Jake? Are you kidding me? Whatever. I want to be a moderator. Okay, yeah, you're gone. Hold on, I'm removing them. Hold on a second. I want to do this one myself. Hide user on channel. Okay, gone. Okay, Dave. Where were we?
So while they're visiting Paul Gillespie, Columbo opens up the packet of pictures he took at the funeral. And they are awful, awful photos.
Yeah.
Heads cut off, bodies cropped, but at the very end of the pile is a picture of Francis from the kidnappers.
From the one from the fireplace, the bad one.
Yes.
And it's funny how Paul says, Columbo says he's just no good at. Well, he thought it was a good picture, and Paul's like, nah, it's out of frame. I think he talked about how bad it was. You just need to have an eye as a photographer. So there you go.
Yeah.
Anyways, great show, Dave, says Freddie Miranda.
Well, thank you, Freddie Miranda.
Yeah. Dave will be solo next week.
You'll have to give me all the passwords. Let's talk about next week as well, real quick, because
go ahead.
We have a guest next week.
Yes.
His name is Kendall Phillips. He's from Syracuse University, and he's written a book called Kolchak the Night Stalker. And we are going to interview him, and he loves all the stuff that we love. So I'm really excited to be able to speak to him. And if I didn't mention it, he's a professor at Syracuse University in New York.
Yes, we're not only going to talk about Kolchak, but he also did some kind of thing on the old haunted house movies.
Yes, and he's also a fan
So,
of Puppet Master.
so there you go. We're going to have plenty to talk about, so that should be good. They show Columbo on loop every weekend in England, says Lulubelle. Very cool.
Yeah.
Lulubelle. That's a nice.
And what's especially great when you go into a lot of these foreign countries in Europe, they have different titles to the episodes.
Yes. Isn't that funny? Yeah.
So
I wonder why they do that, but
I don't know. But we've got a really great one.
Negative reaction just won't cut it here. I don't know.
We have one that's coming up with Jack Cassidy. That's called Now You See Him, and he plays a magician. But in Germany, the episode is called The Devil's Corporal.
Oh.
And I thought that was such a better title for
The Devil's Corporal. Yeah. Well, the magician just sounds plain, the magician. But yeah, the Devil's Corporal does sound good. Yeah. Are all the episodes of Columbo on YouTube? I don't think so. I don't think you can find it. I watch it on Amazon. So okay, so where are we? We got 20. Well, we're getting there, Dave. So let's try to make it here.
Yeah, we will. So Columbo invites Paul Galesko over to his cousin's house for a barbecue to take pictures. And Paul Galesko just goes, I don't just drop by and take pictures. But then now they're at the art opening. And so everyone's walking around and Lorna's in this beautiful sundress.
Yeah.
And there's another guy there, and I'm not quite sure who he is. I don't know if he was the one who lent the $20,000 to Galesko, but he says that Columbo has come to see him and he bought several of his books. And so Columbo's doing research on Galesko, and he shows up now to the art place to question him yet again.
Yeah, same thing happened in the last episode where he got a bunch of books and he's reading up on them. So I don't know if that's an ongoing thing where, these artists, he just gathers the books, but I guess any, investigator would do that. Johnny Dollar would do that.
Johnny Dollar would definitely do that, and he would add it up at the end of the show.
Yes, he would. And it would come to $20,000. Anyways.
But now Columbo saw his pictures from San Quentin, and Alvin Deschler is in 15 of them.
Yeah, so it's kind of a big giveaway.
Yeah.
That Paul happened to spend, I think, 7 days there a week there at San Quentin to do photography, kind of like research photography. Well, no, photography of San Quentin and the criminals there. But he slept there. He ate there, is what they said. And he got to know some of these inmates. So, and Al's in the back of the pictures. I mean, come on. I mean, that kind of gives it away right there. I think, what are the coincidences? That's a big coincidence.
Yeah. And Duck Dodgers, we do not mention Mrs. Columbo at all. Dino does not know that was a horrible show. It would be like Johnny Depp doing Kolchak. So
wow,
we don't mention Mrs. Columbo.
Okay, so delete that. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. So now we are with Larry Storch, because now he needs to prove that the guy went and took a driving test when this woman was being murdered.
Later, Darren Garcia. No crazy conspiracy, hateful that way, empathy, and understanding. Love you. Take care, all 24. Okay, take care, Darren Garcia. But yeah, no, there's did the chat stop here a little bit, or is it good?
Oh no, it's still good.
Okay. Yeah, Larry Storch's character, the driving instructor, I thought it was very funny because Columbo made him nervous. Columbo can't drive. I need the last episode we did. He drove up on the rocks and decided just to pull into the driveway. It was kind of funny. And
I would never even, not only not get in a car with him, but get in that specific car, because that's just a death trap. There's no seatbelts in it. The wipers don't work. Probably there's no very little brakes left. And it freaks out the driving instructor to where he gets out 10 or 12 blocks before his, the DMV. He's all, I'm going to walk because I think it'll be safer.
Yeah. But pretty much he's just trying to get information out of him that did this Al, whatever his last name, Al, take a driver's permit on this day, you know what I mean? And he wanted out of that car. He couldn't be in there no longer. And he showed him a picture and he said, yep, he was there. I can, assure you he was there that day. So, yeah. What were you laughing at there, Dave?
Bubba.
Ouch, Johnny Depp getting caught. Oh, boy. Yeah, no. Just quickly looked, seen 84 episode playlist. I don't know what that means on YouTube. If you look, you can find all episodes of Columbo on YouTube. You got to be careful. Everybody always says you can find all the episodes. I take your word for it, but sometimes they're just minute or 2 minutes of something. YouTube should. I don't think they'd have Columbo.
No,
I would be shocked.
They do have Columbo segments, as you mentioned, and there is
not full-length episodes. No,
full length. They do have a Columbo page, and they upload almost daily a little segment. So that's kind of nice.
Okay, nice.
But we're getting toward the very end where Sergeant Hoffman comes to pick up Paul Galesko.
And you're coming out with a station with us.
Would you join me as he plays the slide projector thing? And I absolutely, once again, love that from my past. And this is where we also see Paul Galesko smoking, which I don't know if he's really smoking or not.
Dick Van Dyke, yeah. So they kind of take him down to the station where I love the scene. The ending here put together by Columbo is just fantastic. It's 10 out of 10 ending with the way he sets everything up. He's sitting at the desk. He's cutting up pieces just like he did out of the same newspaper for a ransom note. He's got everything laid out, and that's when he starts going into everything and all the details about the maid. She would have cleaned these up. Why weren't there this and that and all that laying? Meanwhile, the conclusion of the story, what's on the back shelf? There's like 12 cameras sitting up on the back shelf behind him. But let's talk before that happens. But I just wanted to mention that. Go ahead.
It is, but I love that entire wall because the prop people had so much fun putting stuff in there. There are like just everything has tags on it. It looks like a luggage rack. And then there is that one segment that has cameras.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Ed Stathis. I opened my first fortune cookie of the year. It was empty. What does that mean? Can't be good. Well, listen, it's nothing bad, right? So, I mean, maybe they were just throwing their arms up and going, everything are gonna be fine. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. But that was funny. Okay. Anyways, so he's sitting there. I don't know. Where did you want to? Because I know we got to get to the big picture in the back. But where do we go first? Take me there, Dave.
No, what? It just reminded me. There's the people who did Columbo also did Murder, She Wrote, also did Ellery Queen. And in an episode of Ellery Queen, Ellery is out with a date, and same thing happened. She didn't get a fortune in her fortune cookie, and she just says it really funny, and the guy gives her a discount on the dinner.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh!
Oh, and Duck Dodgers does come back with a good one. Ed, you are being invited to script your life as you like it to unfold. It's a pretty good one, Duck. Why do you use that noggin? And hello, Tony Horror Writer. Okay, Dave, let's get to the end of this.
So we are at the very end, and Columbo says, he talks about everything that's leading up to it. He goes, and by the way, your wife wasn't killed at kidnapped at 2:00 in the afternoon. She was kidnapped at 10 o'clock in the morning when you were there with her. And here's a picture to prove it. And he unveils this super large blow up picture of the one that we've been seeing throughout the episode.
Yeah.
And Columbo has reversed it.
Yeah, because he learned that at the store, which I mentioned earlier, that you can reverse the negative and make it seem like, yeah, just the opposite. So the clock looks like it says 10 a.m.
Right.
And that's what, why is that relevant, Dave?
Because Paul Galesko was with her at that time. And he's all, look, you've just reversed the negative. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And he's all like, he goes, just get the original. Oh, I don't have the original. I dropped it in a vat of hydrochloric acid.
Yeah, that's what he says. And being very smart, Columbo. Yeah. And what does Paul go do, man?
And then Paul gets pissed. He goes, you're going to frame me this way. And he gets all offended. And he goes, but wait, even with your clumsiness, I know I can prove my innocence. And he goes to the wall and picks out the camera, opens it up, and shows him the negative.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So he gives himself away.
Well, then
by going to the camera.
The famous, did you see what he just did?
Oh, I love
what
that.
He just did? And everyone's like,
were you a witness to that? Were you a witness to that? Were you a witness? So yeah, he caught him, and because he knew which camera to go to, open it up, and there's so it just was a perfect ending to that. I mean, I love the way he did that. Yeah, all those sleepless nights for poor Columbo, I tell you.
Indeed,
it all worked out though, in the end.
Yep, and then he just
see you guys.
He gets
what?
He gets escorted away, and in the back you can hear Sergeant Hoffman reading him his rights.
Yeah, and that's how it ends. It's a 2-hour movie of the week back in 1974. I think the other episodes are just as long. Am I wrong?
It's weird because they vary.
Do they? Okay.
A lot of times they are for the 1.5-hour time limit. So with commercials, they're very much like the first one we saw with Murder by the Book.
Yeah.
But there are every so often one of these really great episodes that is for the 2-hour time frame.
Night Duck. Take care. So listen, did I like last week or the last episode better? What was Murder by the Book?
Murder by the Book.
That was, I understand why you made that number one. That was a great episode. This was also very, very good. I mean, it's an 8 out of 10. I mean, it's really up there. It's good. Just a little bit different. But yeah, I love it. I'm glad you picked it out. Dick Van Dyke again. I think he pulled off the role as his character off very, very well. I mean, we all know he does comedy, but I thought it went really, really well. So, I'm always hesitant on giving out names of other things because so many people come and just try to advertise. But whatever. I get all my shows from things of the past. Anything new, if there's a new radio drama on the air, I don't care how well it's put together, Dave. I'm just not interested. They don't sound the way they did. Like when I listen to old time radio, I picture these people in 1940. I picture the people using the microphones, the equipment that they do, putting on these dramas, and then the imagination of the mind kicks in, right? The ones, even when they're well put together today, have a crisp, clear stereo, sound to it, and it's just not. And we all have different accents. Believe it or not, we talk different now than we did back in those days. So
we do.
Yeah.
We do. it's interesting how you think of that, because we do see that in the Ghost Breakers,
Yes.
where Larry Lawrence is a broadcaster.
Yep.
We see it in the Abbott and Costello Whodunit,
Whodunit,
where
yep.
they're broadcasting.
Mhm.
For me, I always, when I listen to old time radio, I think of the exact opposite. When I started listening to Sherlock Holmes, it was this is the Armed Forces Radio Network.
Yeah.
And I envision being in Europe during World War II in a little bunker with a canister of coffee,
Yeah.
listening exactly to what is happening on the radio. I don't think of behind the scenes. I think of the end view.
No. Yeah. Yeah, that was like a precursor to then once like the show starts, you kind of get into all of that. Like you put it very well, like picturing yourself in that time, doing something as you're listening to it. Same thing. I think that's what draws us all to old time radio shows, right? I mean, there is a bit of that nostalgia. And listen, I love the way the characters perform and their voices and even some of the overacting. And I love that about some of like the 80s horror movies, the cheesy ones, the ones that are so bad they're good. It's just there's certain things that I just enjoy, and it's hard to recreate certain things. Like I said, you can't make a cheesy 80s horror movie right today. You can't do it. Film is different. Equipment's different. Decade, everything from clothing. You can try to replicate it best as possible, like Stranger Things and stuff like that, but it's got a different feel.
Well, let me tell you, back early on when I was in college, I was taking some broadcasting classes.
Mm-hmm.
At my radio station, they had an 80s program, and I wanted to host the 80s program. But they had this other kid doing it who was 10 years younger than me. I'm like, that kid should not be hosting an 80s program. He should be hosting a 90s program. He goes, because he doesn't know the lingo. He doesn't know how people dressed or talked, and they don't know the events that happened. Like all of us went through Ronald Reagan shooting. We went through Mount St. Helens. We went through the Challenger disaster. We had all these things form who we are, and you can't replicate that history.
No. It's in our head, and it kind of molds the way we're going to talk and things we're going to bring up. And so, I get that 100%. Hello, Paul Boswell.
My Apple IIe computer here.
Oh, right. Yeah. True. Paul Boswell, hello. Glad you're liking the content and enjoying. Well put, Dave, says Edward Stewart. Okay, so that's a wrap. Next week, we're going to have a guest on talking Kolchak and stuff like that. And then we have Kolchak the following week, and then Art Bell. So, so there we go. That's and I pushed yesterday's show to next Saturday just because I needed some time. So that's all that was. But we'll get that Saturday. And again, new episode of Zane Stellar went up, and nobody's listening. And it's a very good sci-fi series. So I don't know what to say. But you know what? I'm going to continue to put my stuff up there anyways. So it's my platform, and I guess what better way to put it up. So anyways, Dave, I don't know. Let's end it. Let's see how many thumbs up we ended with. Let's do that. We have a total of 73 thumbs up. Thank you each and every one for that. It's not bad, Dave.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Rocky says that's great. Say.
I thought that was Peter Falk coming through.
Okay, you guys, much love to you. Hopefully you enjoy the overnight tonight with all the good stuff, right? The detective shows. So there you go. Played some rare Hermit's Cave last night. Haven't played that in quite a while, but thing is, you got to clean all this stuff up, man. The audio, it's not easy.